Hello everybody, and welcome back to Before You Depart. Our good friend is not having the best of days. I mean, he do be dead, but like his recount of his not good days is also not the good days. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Well, we're learning about our boy, right? So let's keep going, doing the thing. Like some justice has been earned. It was the most pathetic thing you could imagine. I pushed her away. I made sure of that. And then I knew I shoved the last person who cared, even a little, away for good. I was well. And truly. What time is it anymore? How long will it be until it's done? I had no sense of when anything was. I would wake up each night, confused and scared. I could barely recognize the faces of the nurses. The end had arrived. My body was finally giving in. I had no interest in the games, no interest in the massages. The only thing I wanted to do was simply lay there, staring up at the ceiling with eyes half closed and mouth slightly agape. The pain had gotten unbearable, and I'd spent most of the day addled by agony that the medication only slightly subdued. One night, the night before I died, I dreamt about Mom and Dad again. They were actually together, smiling. It was lovely. Dad had made a smoked brisket sandwich glazed with barbecue sauce. Even then, in my dying stupor, I could remember the tingling sensation of its sweetness on my tongue. Mom would laugh alongside him. We even invited Stella over for some games. There was no particular passage of time, no real linearity to it all. One moment I was there, with them, then I was middle-aged, nice and wealthy with several children and a loving husband. My parents were now elderly, so I took them on a nice tour of Europe. The way they looked so happy together, as they stared at the Eiffel Tower, it felt real. There was another dream, one where I was still an infant, barely coherent with language. I showed my parents a finger painting. They laughed, very proud of their son's incoherent splattering of colors on a canvas. It was intended to depict a dog, the one I always wanted. A dog, yeah. A nice big dog. I remember begging for one when I was 5, but my dad strictly forbade it. Too much work, he said. Too much responsibility. I wanted him to be cool, big and strong but affectionate. Someone who'd protect me and sit by my side during rainy days. Someone I could hug, feel their warmth, and let the woes of life wash away in their embrace. Let me turn that down. That's loud. Someone who would never. That's how it went then? You saw it yourself. Humans do often tell me of their suffering at the hands of illness. Does that disturb you? It's nature. This may sound disrespectful, but I truly have seen it all. I did not witness your unfortunate demise just to experience the human suffering. I understand that it exists. I understand more than you could ever know. But I must ask, why? What do you mean? Like, why do we live in the first place, if it all ends the same, with you? No. As selfish as it may sound, I wonder why I must exist. I was placed in this world as a means of taking you beyond, to take you to your final resting place. Beyond the instinct that is engraved into the very fiber of my being, I can understand the purpose of it. Things must change. Things must end. That I truly understand, and exist to perform. But the suffering, the sheer suffering of knowing I'm around the corner. Then why are you so chipper? Chipper? Yes, you're nothing like I would have imagined. I was never sure there was an afterlife, much less a canine psycho pump? Who'd guide me in there. You've seen thousands upon thousands of years of death and decay. You said it yourself. You've taken children, mothers, families. Those stricken with disease, or those taken by freak twists of fate. You really have seen it all, haven't you? So, why do you care so much, Memento? Why do you care so much about our fleeting little lives, if they really are so transient? I didn't always. Early on, life was simple. I'm talking way early on, back before humans roamed the earth. Then, it was easy. Survival for the fittest, eat or be eaten. Our job was simple, simply to take care of the spiritual remains. As time progressed, as creatures evolved, they gained intelligence. And so did we Reapers. I didn't remember much of my early days, but this, Memento motioned to himself, is nothing like what I was a million years ago. But that was par for the course with evolution. Things change, but the constant remains the same. Survival of the fittest. Dispose of the organisms that have met their end, be it a sea sponge that's starved in the primordial muck, or a towering dinosaur suffocating from the debris of an asteroid. But when human beings began walking the earth, everything changed. The intelligence they gained, they attained heights we could have never predicted. They crafted artwork, culture, and legacy that far exceeded any previous life form. Indeed, the world had begun to revolve around the perception of these new creatures. And so too, did we Reapers need to evolve. As I said before, I can't recall much from the time before humans. It was all primal, mindless, you could say. But soon, we grew to reflect them. Their philosophies, their desires, their bonds. The end goal was no longer to continue evolution, but rather seek out the most fulfilling happiness an individual could experience. And perhaps, as I grew to reap more humans, heard their stories, their sorrows, their joys, I believe I grew to create my own philosophies as well. I will never go away, Mori. I am fundamental to the existence of life. But Reapers change, and we evolve to fit new life forms. So, what will I be like? Will I be like in a few thousand years? So much culture has changed in the past 1,000 years. I've spent reaping humans. I've changed so much in these past couple millennia. So perhaps in a million years, when humans are no longer are long extinct, what will become of this me, this Memento? I'm chipper and kind because I've grown with this sort of human experience, but when that changes... Oh, you big lug. What's so funny? So, this whole song and dance we've been doing, this is just you having an existential crisis? Well, when you put it like that. So, you put me through all this bullshit to help you come to terms with death, when you are death. Memento chuckled. If we knew the Grim Reaper was a stupid puppy dog in need of a big head pat and belly rub, I don't think anyone would be afraid of death. Seeing you questioning your own existence, what the hell it all means, that's like basic human philosophy. So, as far as understanding our little plight, I'd say you're doing pretty well for yourself, Mem. It is quite vexing, I must admit. All the complexities. I would be lying if I said I didn't yearn for the simplicity of the Cambrian period. What is this? Cambrian? Cambrian period? How is that pronounced, guys? I don't know. I sat on the fountain edge next to Memento. But back then, you couldn't get a nice belly rub. Trilobites aren't exactly the most affectionate organisms I've taken. Memento placed 2 paws on his fuzzy stomach and shook it around. And now it seems humans have a soft spot for a soft spot. So, I decided to make this belly rounder, so there's more surface area. It's worked quite well for me, I must say. Well, I think it looks good on you, I said as I stroked its surface. Maybe keep it for the next era. It was cool to the touch, like the opposite end of a pillow. I wanted to rest my head on it. Memento chuckled a bit, clearly enjoying the experience. The big lug got on his back, unzipped his pants, and exposed the whole thing. Okay. You're honestly quite adorable. I try to be. It makes bringing the bad news easier for folks. He's really adorable. His fur, his stupid face. Memento peered up at me. Your face. What about it? You look red, like a big cherry. What? Why would I... I buried my face in my hands. Humans do that when they're... I know. How peculiar, I must say. You humans and your proclivities never cease to surprise me. Did you ever read Freud? He did mention something called the death drive. I was going to, but a woman in Algeria broke her neck while trying to clean a window, so another Reaper had to go about it. From what the other Reapers told me, it seems I was quite fortunate with only having dealt with Helgel? Memento rubbed the scruff on his thick neck. Yeah. Memento had a distant look in his eyes as he turned away from me. I guess today took a lot out of this death deity. Me as well. I look up at the sky, brilliant hues of red and orange painted behind thick wisps of clouds. The sun was falling at a steady rate, approaching the end of the day and the end of my journey. I stroked Memento's fur, but there was a peculiar lack of reaction from him. He kept looking away from me, checking his head cheating his head in the other direction. Eventually, Memento gently pushed me off his stomach, and he sat, looking troubled. Hey, are you alright? In truth, no. What's bothering you? Memento turned his gaze to me, and I was met with a sorrowful expression, one I had never seen from the wolf until now. He looked tormented, like something was eating him from inside. Now, Mori, how important is the truth to you? What? If the truth were to bring you more anguish than a blissful lie, wouldn't it be better than to live that lie until the end? Memento, what are you saying? All this affliction, all this praise. It has only been an afternoon, and yet I feel close to you. Memento, can you get to the point? There was something wrong, I could feel it. Mori, I feel this strong, burning emotion within me. Is this shame? Guilt? Guilt? Guilty of what? Mori, I have deceived you. What do you mean? All this time, I thought I'd make the process easier, but I couldn't help but feel this overwhelming burden atop my shoulders as the day progressed. Memento stared up at the sky, which had become progressively darker as the sun continued its journey beyond the horizon. But I believe I owe you the truth. As your friend. Mori, when I told you before that I knew what was after... No. I was not being truthful in that sentiment. There's no way. What do you mean? Memento got up from the fountain and looked me in the eyes. A deep anguish was rolling within him as he selected his next words. Mori, there is no paradise. What? My jaw fell slack in shock. The world seemed to slow. Then what lies beyond the final horizon? Nothing. Nothing? At all? Not even us Reapers know. There's no trace left, and not a hint. The bodies return to the earth, and the spirits return to the universe. What truly happens to your consciousness? We have no way of knowing. But in all likelihood, I don't expect anything to lie beyond that last horizon. This is the loss of me entirely? The loss of consciousness itself? How could you lie to me about this? Most humans, when confronted with oblivion, it's impossible for them to truly grasp it. They begin losing themselves in despair. Many humans indeed ponder, or are even certain that there's nothing after death, but to receive the explicit truth from me, it breaks them. I simply wanted to. To what? To alleviate the anxiety as we explored your past. So you lied to me about eternity? Because it was convenient? Mori, I was promised the greatest reprieve I could imagine. An eternity of paradise after the hell I endured on Earth. I went through all of this just for you to satisfy your stupid curiosity. And what did I get in the end? Nothing. That's it. Do you, immortals, comprehend oblivion? Is it even possible? I'd ask you the same. Can you? Whenever I pictured death, I imagined eternal black, a sea of dark in which I would exist forever. But that implies consciousness. What lies beyond exceeds any human's comprehension. Nothing. Pure oblivion. Shit. This piece of shit. I knew it was too good to be true. Truly, how could a death deity understand? Why would it care? To this thing, a fleeting little gnat. No, even less than that. I'm just a tiny blip. Even this Reaper feels guilty. 1,000 years from now, it won't even have mattered. Memento will continue to exist until the very end. Perhaps until the very last life form takes its terminal breath and the universe collapses in on itself. But me, this is all I have. This is all that I am. No. No! I shoved Memento back. You can't do this to me! I'm well and truly sorry, Mori, but there's nothing you can do. Fuck you! Off we go. We go. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna end the part here. So I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.